you. Please be seated. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Let me make some formal remarks and then I will digress a little for a good reason. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to join you this morning for the launch of the Best of Kenya Coffee Table Book, which focuses on the theme of Kenya Beyond 60. This is the second time that I'm presiding over the launch of the Best of Kenya that is published by the Global Village Publishers East Africa Limited. We are gathered for an occasion that marks a true partnership between the Government of Kenya, Global Village Publishers, and all the partners involved. This book profiles Kenya as a reputable visitor and investor-friendly destination, showcasing the country's success stories of public and private sector enterprise and entrepreneurship. It tells the world that Kenya is open for business 24/7 and 365 days. Its profiles of successful enterprises stimulate the interest of local and foreign investors to take advantage of Kenya's carefully created and jealously guarded business-friendly climate. This publication has promoted Kenya even in the most challenging periods. In 2008, which was a particularly tough year following rampant post-election violence, Best of Kenya promoted the view that violence was a blip and an aberration. It promised that Kenya was resilient and would bounce back, and indeed, Kenya bounced back. In 2010, the Best of Kenya enthusiastically welcomed Vision 2030, precisely because it charted a creditable blueprint for Kenya's transformation into a newly industrialized nation. Kenya remains on course to achieve this goal. Another significant moment of the coffee book was in 2013, the year of the golden jubilee of our independence. While appreciating the euphoria, the book called for measured celebration and serious reflection and introspection because all was not rosy over the 5 decades of Uhuru. As we celebrate our 61st Independence Day tomorrow, that is Jamhuri Day, Best of Kenya Volume 4 is reviewing the events of the last 6 decades, taking stock and looking ahead with a corresponding theme, Kenya Beyond 60. It is tempting to immerse ourselves in celebrating and forget to prepare the ground with reasons for a better celebration 12 months from now. The terrain is also familiar. Kenya's economy is just recovering from domestic and global shocks, including high cost of living and depreciation of the shilling caused by high fuel and food prices, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, and disruption of global logistics by the Russia-Ukraine war and conflict in the Middle East. Once again, Best of Kenya comforts us that the proven resilience of Kenyans will carry the day. The measures put in place by the government to address and redress these challenges will bear fruit, but we cannot afford to be complacent. This book embodies a great sense of patriotism, always urging Kenyans to embrace enterprise and beseeching the government to support small businesses. These are the big enterprises of tomorrow, enhancing the role of the private sector as the engine of Kenya's economic growth. I am not particularly surprised that the Best of Kenya Volume 4 is anchored on the government's 4th medium-term plan better known as MTP4, which His Excellency President William Ruto launched in early 2023. MTP4 is the government's 5-year roadmap for raising economic growth to at least 7.2% of GDP by 2027. It is anchored on the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and Vision 2030. I look forward to adding the Best of Kenya Volume 4 to my collection of books that remind me that however gloomy today may be, tomorrow will most certainly be bright. Hope will pervade the landscape because we are a resilient people and we work hard to keep Kenya's star shining and turn to each other for inspiration. Best of Kenya is about Kenya's history, told by Kenyans about themselves as seen through Kenyan eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to appreciate the authors and publishers of this book for their compelling messages of hope in more prosperous future. It is now my singular pleasure to declare the Best of Kenya Volume 4 coffee table officially launched and recommend it as a must read for all. Thank you. Before you do what you have to do, let me just, as you bring it forward. Now, I just thought I really need to appreciate some of you personally here. First, let me appreciate Baruch Vyakweli and Madam. These have been true friends of mine, true friends of the family, in better times and also in difficult times. So I really want to appreciate you. Thank you so much. They were very, very aggressive in prepping me up for this vision and really reminding me that we need to say something about ourselves as a country. And I'm happy that today we are here to fulfill part of that long journey, because I don't think this is going to be the end. I'm sure we'll be seeing other initiatives as we go forward. So thank you and congratulations. Now, Sarit never told you how old he was in 1995. He spoke about it, and when it came to that, he quickly rushed through so that you would not know. But I told him, just remind me, and he was, I think, 18 years old when I was laying the foundation, actually doing the groundbreaking for phase 2 of the very big shopping mall in Westlands. I was, I think, 35 at the time, and I was then the Minister for Finance, and the economy was also reeling out of very serious challenges, and we were beginning to open up, to liberalize. By the way, you guys, you may not know that journey. You must remember that Kenya was living under price controls. You could not go out of the country on your journey unless you had only officially the equivalent of 4,500 shillings stamped in your passport. If you are an importer, you could not import your raw material, your products, without an import license. Petroleum was regulated. There were 2 exchange rates, the black market one and the official one. So basically, we were a closed economy and we were not growing. So we had to open up. It was not an easy thing. we pushed very, very aggressively, and we opened up the economy. Today, you know what there is. There are no price controls. Nobody is stamping your passport anymore if you're carrying your money outside. You don't have to ask for an import license and queue for 1 month and so forth. And so many other things. We have a unified exchange rate, so you don't go to black market at all. You can access your money whenever you want. And if you're a foreign investor, because there are so many who had blocked funds, that means their shareholders could not earn their dividend because we were a closed economy. We opened up this. Today, if you invest here, you can repatriate your dividends after people have earned it. In Africa, I want you people to know, it's not a joke. You have the most liberal financial system. That is Kenya. I don't want to mention any country specifically, but you try and go and get your forex in some of those countries, and then come back to Kenya and see how fast you get your forex and what you are trying to do in the other country, if at all you'll get it. So these are some things that are so positive right under your nose. But Kenyans sometimes get immersed in looking for the negative. But there are very, very positive things ahead of you. So that's at its center. I was talking to Dalma Abdi, and I told him, perhaps we should not dwell too much on trying to tell people about the environments around Isili. And I told him, let's just go back, because people tend to forget this. Let's Google Eastleigh. Not Isili. Eastleigh. It is a borough, a town in the UK, closer to Southampton, that is in the south. So stop telling people kwamba sisi ni watu, awaambie wewe ni watu wa Eastleigh. And that is because it didn't, you know, the way we have pronounced it locally, we have made it look like it's not a place that deserves mention, where people should live and so forth. No. Let us transform it, and you are doing it. And so many other people are doing it. Don't feel ashamed about it. Weka kifua mbele, it is Eastleigh. This is your market in Kenya, you know? If we were to look at the other, equity, you've done a wonderful job. You've talked about the education. I can testify that I was in a plane, a chopper, with James Mwangi and your former chairman, what's his name? Munga, Peter. And we were flying in Western Kenya some time back. And we were distributing, of course, they had gone ahead, 1,000 avocado trees per constituency in the entire Western province. Because apart from what you're doing there, Equity was also promoting avocado growing, encouraging diversification, and we were crisscrossing, going to different centers and formally launching the avocado program in Western Kenya. Again, a very powerful initiative. Of course, I'm not too happy about the subsequent results. because I think people walilala kidogo. But it is a cause that we should not run away from. Diversification of our agriculture and I think it's very important. Now, I come to my friend, Kwendo Opanga. I'm asking him what he's doing here because I was told he's decided to try the winter, where he has been spending a lot of time, but he told me he ran away to come back for a few days. But he has been a household name in the media world. He has praised us and also criticized us in equal measure when he's writing his pieces. One of the things that I would advise you to always do, depending on the mood he is in, if he's in a bad mood, do not give him a pen and paper or don't give him any tablet. Make sure you keep them away from him. But if he's in a good mood, hand over to him because he will write a very interesting piece for you. The education Methodist University. Thank you for what you're doing. It's very Mount Kenya. Thank you for what you're doing because in the bilateral labor agreement we signed with Germany a few months ago, when the president was there, we did sign that. It is critical that language, the medium of communication, is so critical. And I really want to appreciate what you're doing in enabling our young people master the language, go beyond German, do a few other languages as well, because it's a global village and we want people to really move forward. And this is something that is music for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, particularly the diaspora department, where we are really encouraging people, the nurses, as you have said, and others, to move forward. As we embrace technology, we are also beginning to consider a different kind of perhaps work permit. Hopefully, after the legal people have consulted, we may want to introduce the digital nomad so that we can really support the young people who are savvy in innovation and other things, to be able to work globally, even if they're based here, at a more structured way and a better way. So these are some of the things we are looking at, because we are also conscious that the demography is such that it is the young people. Almost 70% of our population is young. Now, this contrasts significantly with what is happening in Europe and others, where they are having a deficit of young people, let me put it that way. Okay? We have a surplus of young people, energetic, innovative, and those other countries are now beginning to experience a surplus of the elderly, the ones who are above the curve, and it's beginning to turn the other way. So in fact, some of them are abolishing retirement age. You know, here we are talking of, we want a retirement age so that you can presumably open up for others. But in some of those countries, retirement is actually when you yourself literally feel that you can no longer wake up and do what you have been doing. So this is the nature of things, and we need to take advantage of it. And therefore, I really want to commend your team, all the people who have been involved here in making this a success. Please do not tire. Continue working on it, and help us to continuously reform. I take criticism positively, and I think we all do in government, because as you raise these issues, it gets us thinking on what we should do next to make it better. But at the same time, once in a while, acknowledge when we've done something positive. It really helps. The other day, I was speaking to the foreign policy that we launched, and I said one of the key planks in Kenya is to have the freedom of the press, a free media. Because sometimes when I travel, we are even criticized by some of our friends that, why did you allow so-and-so to come and issue a statement in your country against our country? And I tell them, I don't know what you're worried about, because if there is somebody who gets criticized by the Kenyan media more than anybody else, is the president of Kenya. Now, if he was to go to the extreme, he would say, then I'm banning these media houses. But he doesn't. They continue. But other people don't realize that that is the level of openness that we have attained. Let's guard it jealously, but also let's use it responsibly. It's absolutely essential. It can also make or break relations in the region. But what is important is that we have to guard that space. And the government of Kenya, in spite of all the things, still says, let people consume their news. We are now seeing some challenges. We have to figure out how to address it so that we prepare ourselves in a more positive way. Australia the other day has passed a piece of legislation to protect their children. This is a developed nation, so to speak. It's a big player in the Commonwealth. But they are acknowledging that even with their own freedoms, the material that the young people between up to the age 16, what they are consuming on our media platforms is also causing havoc. We are seeing suicides. We are seeing depression. A child of that age being exposed to all sorts of things, or even if they are battered. A young child doesn't know that this is something that will pass. They think it's the end of the world. And we subject them to certain challenges and dangers. So collectively, I think we can work out ourselves through process of self-regulation, through process of internal quality controls within the media houses, and provide some ethical approach to some of these things ourselves, so that we can reach a stage and say, perhaps we don't even need to think of legislation in that space, but we can do it ourselves. So these are things that I really just wanted to say we can do, and let's do as a society, so that Kenya is better for everybody, and we lay a good foundation as we go forward. Asanteni sana, congratulations. We can now proceed with the other. Why we are in a hurry is because there are some bills to be accented to, and I think that's why Mwasera, my friend, is not here, because because they are doing some preparations. I have to exit very soon for that process of bills being assented to by the head of state. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I'll request you that you remain on stage kindly for the next quick session. May we all be upstanding now as let's appreciate these fine ladies as they come on stage with a dummy of our book that we're launching today. Makofi tafadhali. I would request Vyakweli to lead the team. Mr. Sarit, please. Welcome, sir. Thank you, Mr. Wanyonyi. Karibu. The spouse to kindly. And we also had a representative from QuickMart. This is where you hand the pair of scissors. And as the ribbon is cut, kindly, makofi tafadhali. Yes, and wonderful. There you are. Another round of applause, please. So very quickly, I will request that because we have a very quick photo session, we will move the book and we'll have a quick photo session with the Prime CS, and then we'll take our seats for the vote of thanks. So as our teams kindly move our book aside, I will request our Prime Cabinet Secretary to take this. Yes, so the first picture will have thank you very much. I will then, I think our cameramen are good. I will then request to have Mr. Sarit remain for a picture with the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and then after that the GVP team will come on board, and that will be it.